Hey guys, Chris Moore here on the Daily BS today. We've got some questions about setting up home gyms. So I'm actually going to walk you through some of the steps I went through and some of my reasoning when I set up my new home gym.
Epic pan.
Life is busy. Sometimes you got to make arrangements to be able to train when you can train. So I guess my first point for you would be you have to first consider racks. If you're Olympic weightlifting, I'd say go to Rogue, get you a nice simple pair of squat stands that are going to last you forever. You're going to be doing overhead pressing, front squats, back squats, and the lifts, so you don't need a whole setup kind of like this. If you want to do home WODs, you're not going to be pushing the loads so high. Some squatting that you can just easily dump the bumper plates you're using. You're going to be doing some pull-ups and stuff. I would probably recommend a Rogue half rack that mounts to the wall. Those things are super cool. They're very space efficient. You can do everything you want to do. If you're going to do heavier squats alone, but especially if you're going to do things like bench press, you really need to have a power rack because you can fucking die doing that in your garage on your own. I've got just a simple old school West Side barbell style rack. Actually used to be back in faction back in the day. I've got a pair of heavy duty Spud Inc. wraps or straps that hold whatever I can lift and twice as much. So if I wrap this around the barbell, if I need to set a bench press down into it, if I lose it, or I need to kind of bail on a squat carefully, I can do that no problem. So rack, very important, first things first. I guess my second thought always turns to barbells. If you're gonna do just basic strength work, this barbell right here is probably one of the better ones. This is a Texas Power Bar. Served me well over the last 10 years or so. Will hold a lot of weight. The difference between this bar and like a Rogue, a Rogue bar or a Bergner bar, those kind of bars, this is not really that great for weightlifting because this thing is pretty stiff. You can get no whip during your second pull. You get no dip and reflex on a jerk drive. So this is really ideal for presses and squats and deadlifts. If you want to do the lifts, powerlifting and weightlifting, I would get a general Rogue bar. If you got the money, maybe a bearing, but you don't need it. I also have a heck of a lot of other kind of bars. These are all bonus. I've accumulated them over years. A cambered bar for good mornings. A safety bar that's really helping me learn how to be more upright after years and years of being a bent over, good morning style squatter and powerlifting, which is, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't do that way. A Buffalo bar, cambered bench bar, an awesome deadlift bar, which is a little thinner than a bar like this. Gives you good whip on the deadlift. Actually, it's a little smaller diameter, so you can grab the hell out of it. It's actually really sharp. You cannot let it go, basically. And this is a pretty decent bar, a multi-purpose bar to have in your garage gym. Sometimes called a Swiss bar, sometimes called a football bar. You can grab with various grips. If you got a banged up shoulder and you want to bench press or press overhead, this bar gives you some options where it lets you work around the pain. If you've done ring rows and it feels a lot better, this is the same thing for pressing. One of the things, you're going to need some plates. I've got a bunch of just standard metal plates for the main lifts. I've also got my mean greens. CTP, zoom in on those homies. 50 kilo bumper plates, which are very nasty. Those things will plaster you to the ground, but are amazing for deadlifting. The only plates I don't have, the only thing really on my wish list is just some basic, 25 kilo, 20 kilo, 15, 10 bumpers. I'm going to get that pretty soon. What are some nice to haves? Again, if you're going to bench, you need a bench. This happens to be the bolt together item from Rogue. It's like 170 bucks. This is actually one of the best benches I've ever used. It's super firm. The height is right. The width is right. As with anything, we ain't sponsored by Rogue yet. Maybe one day in the future. But I have never got anything from Rogue that I didn't think was just amazingly well made. I mean, that's just legitimate. So you probably need a bench. I also have, for warm-ups and such, a Rogue Games box, which it's just clever, man. I mean, you can flip it on each side. You get, what's like 18, 22, 24 CTP. It's maybe even 30
20,
on the side.
24, and 30.
Yeah, it's like 130 bucks. It takes, it's the function of 3 boxes, so it's super awesome for garage space. store in the corner. I got a box for box squatting, although I don't really do that much anymore. I do that maybe as an assistance exercise. When I powerlifted, I did all kinds of box squatting only to obsessive degree. I don't necessarily think that's the way to go anymore. This bad boy, my trusty Elite Fitness glute ham raise, which I actually bought this. You know, in hindsight, I'm glad, because I didn't have to buy it now from my garage gym. But I paid like $800 for this thing when I was in grad school, which is ridiculous. But this thing has lasted for, you know, well over 10 years now. Again, as everybody who does CrossFit knows, you're not gonna find anything better for training your abs, and you're not gonna find anything better for training the hamstrings and glutes and back, doing back raises and glute ham raises. So, some odds and ends, a little stretching mat, some random bands, some wraps. The bands are also super duper useful for a home gym because you can just do anything with them. You can tie them to the rack and do, you know, curls, extensions, raises, stretches. My favorite thing to do with it, I choke the band around the bottom. I pull it around my feet. I sit way back. I do banded leg curls. It's kind of a good hammer. You squeeze your ass and you pull your heels down into as fast as possible. Squeeze. Let it back real wide and squeeze. It's one of my favorite deadlift assistance exercises. Every time I do it, I get a little faster in the pull. This works quite nicely. I've got a few boards and stuff left over, remnants from the powerlifting days for doing partial range of motion presses. I do a little bit of that now just to try to bring the lockout strength back in my press, which has suffered quite a bit lately because I haven't really worked it. So it's nice to have, and that kind of stuff is almost free to make, no big deal. I do have some sweet cherry bomb kettlebells. Ugh. We picked these bad boys up at the garage games actually. I saved like $130 shipping just by getting them myself. I don't really love a whole lot of kettlebell stuff. It's great as assistance, it's great for conditioning. It doesn't replace deadlifts or squats, obviously. But you know, I got out here just to do some swings for warming up or working my hips for assistance work. It's great. 25-pound slam ball, just for tossing around in the backyard or slamming down for a warm up before the bench press. What else? Yeah, a handy dandy pair of rings. You know, like what, $30 or something on most CrossFit supply websites. Can't go wrong. A few assorted mats for pulling from different heights. Also for padding your concrete floor in your garage. We have rubber everywhere. This is just something I picked up at a local farm supply place for $40 a sheet. You can't really get much of a better deal than that. But you want a lot of rubber. Get you some spare pieces, cut them up into squares, so when you do like a heavy deadlift, you can stand up on them and then put them underneath the plates, because if you drop a heavy bar and you crack your foundation, you know, hopefully you got insurance to cover that. I don't want to crack mine. Other than that, you don't need much of anything else. The only other thing I'll probably add in here is Concept 2 rower. You know, maybe like a cheap Airdyne or something if I can get a good deal on it, find it on Craigslist. But other than that, this kind of setup is really all you need to get as strong as you need to get. Yeah, that's pretty much all, man.
Tater tots.
Tater tots.
If you like this video or any of our other videos, make sure to share it on your Facebook wall by clicking share, and then the Facebook icon, and then also like it. Thanks, Drunk Thugs.